a mountaineer understands this or a trekker understands this. You can't imagine the views we get. You can't imagine the joy, the experience, the learning, the feeling of climbing. I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere. You're in the back of beyond. You can't even come back and explain to your own family what you've gone through. And you learn so much, it teaches you so much. It actually makes you respect life a lot more than you would just learn or do sitting in an air-conditioned home through the year in Delhi city or wherever else. You know what I mean? Because, that's as natural as one gets. There is no pretense there. There is no filter. It's who you really are. There is no pretense, zero inhibitions. It's you versus you.
Episode 34, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today's guest barely needs an introduction as she's been out and about in the fitness scene for over a decade. A successful entrepreneur, a marathoner, a community leader, a role model for many, and she's a mother to her two beautiful dogs. I'm talking about Reeti Sahai. Reeti is the first and, as far as we know, the only woman from Uttarakhand to have run all the world major marathons and to have earned the coveted 6-star medal. She's also an endurance cyclist, a yogini, a mountaineer, and a certified functional trainer. It's not just her experience and running abilities that she's adored for, but for her abilities to make human connections, inspire people, build communities, and for doing whatever she can to help our four-legged friends. Over the last few years, Reeti has built a vibrant community called Run With Reeti that has active folks who gather multiple times a week at multiple locations over Delhi NCR to run, to become better athletes, and to celebrate the joy endurance sports has to offer. In this conversation, we spoke about her early life, her motivations, her love for animals, why she loves climbing and outdoors so much, and what keeps her coming back to this brutal sport of running marathons. Stick around till the end, my friends. You're in for a treat. This is Reeti Sahai and me in the Find Your Ultra podcast, episode 34. Indulge away. Hi Reeti, welcome to the Find Your Ultra podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
I'm so glad, first of all, that you agreed to do this at such a short notice. You were leaving for Sydney?
That's right.
Sydney, the world
For the Sydney Marathon.
Yeah.
It's a contender for the world major, not a world major yet.
Not yet, okay.
Yeah.
I thought Singapore Marathon was also a contender for one of the world majors.
No, as of now, Sydney is a contender and so is Cape Town.
Okay.
But 6 are world majors, which I have, of course, completed. So this is a contender as of now.
Okay. So really excited about this conversation because I have been in the running circuit for about 10 years and it's the first time I'm meeting you, which is actually great. So वो बोलते हैं ना कि if you've not seen that, have you seen that movie? And if the answer is no, okay, then you're in for a treat. So I've heard so much about you and I've been seeing you on social media. So I'm super excited. You've been up to some crazy things. You've done world majors and you've built your own communities from ground up. And I've been seeing all of that. So super excited about this. Let's begin with your recent trip. How was Sydney Marathon?
Sydney was fabulous. I got the opportunity of being invited to run the Sydney Marathon. Of course, I grabbed it and it was a gorgeous, gorgeous course. As picturesque as it gets. I don't think I'll ever get to run a course that's as beautiful as Sydney in terms of, you end up at the Opera House, you run on the Harbour Bridge, you're running in the Sentinel Park, the Darling Harbour. So it was just glorious. But what really didn't work in our favor, but I guess that's what races are for and D-days are meant for, is the weather, climate change across the globe. Yeah. And we ran literally in 32 degrees centigrade, which was crazy. It was crazy hot.
For this time of the year?
Yeah, actually, because they've had the marathon for many years now at this time. And they usually have a marathon in any city across the world on, at a time when it's great weather, which is how it's been mostly. Yeah. But this year was brutal. I mean, if that's the word I may use. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, which of course I didn't expect, but it's like I said, till you run the course and every course is different, are the rolling hills. Mm-hmm. The course is completely rolling. Okay. Yeah, but it was an extremely awesome experience. I had a great time and I've got the medal. So I'm one marathon stronger.
Amazing. Marathon is really special any day, no matter where you run it. It is special on its own. But the experience of running a world major, I guess, is different, which hopefully I'll experience someday. You've done all of them, right? All 6 of them.
Yes, I have.
So just tell me which one. Like I don't even know what's the difference. Which course is your favorite? Or which one did you enjoy running the most? What's your favorite?
So, like you rightly
Or the
said,
most challenging, whichever.
So, like you rightly said, every marathon is special, right? So, and every marathon has a story. Yeah. And one leads to the other. Every time I run a marathon, be it a world major, when I'm running the course, I am cursing myself and I'm saying, did I pay to do this? And almost in the last 10 kilometers, I'm like, I swear words. I use swear words. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to run a marathon again. And it only lasts till I cross that finish line. And within a few hours, I know which one I want to do next. I've either signed up or I know that I want to run another marathon, But, to answer your question, I would say all 6, Boston, Berlin, Chicago, London, New York, and Tokyo are special in their own ways. I can't pick one, Boston being a marathon that I want to run for as long as I can, for as long as I can qualify and run it. So God willing and thankfully, I am running the Boston 24. Wow. Because, it's an iconic race. It's 127 years old. It's the Boston Marathon, it's got, it's that, it's
the BQ.
Yeah, it's also that BQ. And so, that's super, super special. But like I said, London was brilliant because that's where I PR'd. I ran a 3:37. So that was special in its own way.
When was that?
October 2022.
Okay. Like last year.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's when I actually...
Close to your prime.
I guess.
Amazing.
I want to actually race Boston 24. So let's hope I can PR there. Yeah. So, and in fact, what I ran in London, the 3:37, I had to run Chicago a week after. So I ran Sunday to Sunday in 2 different continents. And, I managed Chicago also with a strong sub 4. So, yeah, so every marathon for me was special, has been special and has a story. And they're super close to my heart. I mean, they all, I can go on and on about every marathon, like I said. Yeah. Berlin was again special because I started my marathon journey with Berlin. It was a world major, or it is a world major, and it was my maiden marathon. And I ran that as a sub 4 as well. And that's the year when Kipchoge also broke the world record. So
at the Berlin?
At the Berlin Marathon.
Which year was that again?
September 2018.
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's been special. I mean, all marathons have been special.
Yeah. Wonderful. And so BQ I'm aware of, but do all the other world majors require qualification as well, or is just a ballot?
No, they do have qualification times. All world majors have qualification times, but you have different ways of entering them. Mm-hmm. One is that you qualify and you apply. Mm-hmm. If you meet the qualifying standards, again, every marathon will have an age qualification, and gender qualification. So it's different for every marathon. The other way to get in is lottery, which is the ballot. If you get lucky, you apply for it well in time and you get pulled out. Of course, that's another way. And now, of course, there are many official tour agencies, these marathon tours that operate across the world. Of course, we've only got one in India, the Active Holiday Company. So you can also apply through them. Gauri leads it, correct. So, they also have bibs for across 6 marathons, the world majors, and many others. In fact, they do some great races, not just the marathons. So that's a third way. And of course, another way is, if there's a sponsor, like one of the major sponsors that sponsor the race or are, send you an invite. For example, Boston is sponsored by, say, Adidas or another big brand. So one of those, their employees could get a bib. For example, the New York Marathon, TCS sponsors it, right? TCS is the major sponsor, the main sponsor. So the TCS employees get to run it because they probably have a certain number of bibs that are allocated to them. So I'm sure for them, it's a great thing to offer it to their employees who are runners, who are marathoners. So there are different ways to get into the world major, but I feel each way is special. Being able to run a world major is in itself a huge achievement. And yeah, it's just amazing.
Okay. I mean, ये सवाल relevant नहीं है, but I would still ask because so I come from the ultra running community. My friends all are ultra runners. We are all We like longer distances
Got
much
it.
more. We have an affinity to that. You're such a brilliant runner. Have you ever considered switching to longer distances?
So I'm going to debut at the Khardungla Challenge
Whoa.
2024.
Announcement.
Yes, there you are.
Okay.
And I also want to do the Comrades. So those two, inshallah, next year.
Next year.
Yes, I do want to get to the ultra. I want to see the high that you guys experience that I haven't experienced yet. So yes, I'm on to the ultras now.
So guys, this is where you heard it first. Reeti is doing ultras next year. Fabulous.
God willing.
I have no doubt. So, right. I wanted to also talk to you about, now this is where we are currently. Okay. I love to delve a little bit into the person's life.
Sure.
And perhaps understand the kind of person that they are. Because all we see people these days is all on social media, which is of course very curated, right? All of us curate our feeds and everything. Yeah, well, let's get to know Reeti, the person which is not available on social media. Just take me back to you. Take me back to your childhood a little bit. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Lucknow in the command hospital. My father was in the army, so I'm a Fauji brat. Born, raised, and traveled across the length and breadth of the country. And so that's where I was born. I was raised across the length and breadth of the country, like I just said, because in the infantry, you get posted, the officers get posted as soon as 6 months to a year, could be 2 years, could be 3 years. So I've traveled to a lot of places. So there's not one place that I belong to. But of course, I've been in Delhi for the last 25 years, maybe more actually now. So now I'm a proud Delhiite. That's really what my little background is. But I've always been an extrovert or a person who loves adventure and sports and outdoors. So I've been into trekking, traveling. You know, you can't make me sit inside the house for too long. So I've got to be on my feet, moving, doing something that's to do with the outer world. So the outer world gives me the energy that I get or I have. And that's what kind of drives me, you know. So that's me as a person in a nutshell. But also to answer what you just said about social media, you know, unfortunately or fortunately, my social media handle with my Instagram is as real as Reeti is.
That's amazing.
I know people curate it and, you know, rightly so, wrongly so, whatever works or sales, whoever's boat. But I'm as organic as it gets, you know, and that's another thing I tell a lot of people that listen, you will see me the way you see me on Instagram when you meet me. So I don't know whether you'll have the same opinion when we finish the chat.
I certainly do.
But
I mean, I feel the vibes and the energy is just as exactly as I see on social media, just as I expected. But the stage that you're saying at which you are currently, which is you're as close to your social profile. That's a life goal for people, you know, because this is not usual. It stands out and it's great.
So, you know, I've always been like this. I'm also called the black sheep at certain places. I'm also called or labeled or said that, you know, she calls a spade a spade. I'm muh phat, as you may I mean, I don't know if that's the right word. I'm not so good in Hindi, but I mean, so, you know, I am who I am. Like I said, you know, I'm fairly real, good or bad, I don't know. Okay. But so I guess, you know, that's the way I've always been. You know, yeah, I mean, I'm out there. You know, I'd rather say it on your face than say it behind your back. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I may say it politely, though I may not. Or at times I may just say it and, you know, people will be like, oh my God, she's just too straight on your face. But that's just Reeti for you, you know? I'm out there, I will say it, that's just me. And that's how I am even on my social media.
How did running happen to you? When did you start running?
So I started long distance running in 2010. I was in the corporate world. And like I said, I've always been, you know, an outdoor person. So, you know, in the army background with my father being in the army, there were these camps that, you know, the army Northern Command will have or Southern Command. So we used to go for those camps. There were 2 hours in a day that my parents would always ask me to step out of the house and go into a park, whichever was next to a house, and say, you just have to go and play. And there were times I tell mom, I'm tired, I have a stomach issue. Never mind, go out, sit there, meet people. There are lots of kids that come to the park, but go spend your 2 hours in a park and come, you know. So I've always been, you know, like I said, you know, fond of exercising, running. I was in the school sports team for basketball, track and field and all of that. But when I joined the corporate world, I had no time for even, you know, hitting the gym. I would try my best. There were days I was successful. There were days I would make it happen, but I'd be really crabby because by the time I'd get home from the gym and after a long day's work, it would be like 9:30, 10 p.m. And I said, what am I doing? You know, I don't get to spend, you know, my time doing what I love. I'm just going to work to earn a living and I'm going to, you know, work out, that too with great difficulty. I can't find the time. I mean, is it all worth it, And so that's when I said, okay, maybe I should take up running. Let me try running, because it's about a pair of shoes, right? A running shoes, a pair of running shoes. And the good part is, at that point, I was in the corporate world, and our then CEO is a marathoner even today. And he was very in favor of having a fit company. People got to be fit.
What company was it?
Steria.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a tech? I'm not
IT, yes.
IT, okay.
Correct. So, I just took a pair of running shoes one fine day to work, and I said, okay, let me just try and, see if I can do this in my break. We had a gym in office. We had a very fancy, swanky, it was a new, multinational, whatever. So I just took that pair of shoe and I started running. I mean, in my spare time, in the lunch break, or whenever I got time for 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, I quite enjoyed it. And I started doing that more often. And I said, you know what, maybe this is what I need to do, because at least I'm happier because I'm able to, burn some calories, have that endorphin high. Yeah. And then 2 kilometers led to a 5 kilometer. And then it was Airtel Delhi half marathon time.
Which year?
2010 again. Okay. Yeah. And Dr. Mukesh Aghi, who was the CEO, he said, you know what, I'm signing up the entire company to do a 7K Great Delhi Run. And what we're going to do is, the employee pays half and the company pays half. You're going to walk, jog, crawl it, but everybody's going to do it. And they really motivated all of us. And there were these, various things that led to the run. We had buses that took us from the workplace. We had post-run refreshments and all of that. So that was my first ever 7K. And then I've never looked back. I think running was a calling. It was 7K to a 10K to a half marathon. And I do remember, but when I ran half marathons for 7 good years, there were lots of people that reached out to me on the side and said, I think it's time for a full marathon. And I said, you know what, when I'm ready, I'm sure I'll be ready, and I'll say it out loud. And I think it took me 7 years to be mentally ready and to wake up one fine day after I had turned 40 years of age to say, you know what, Reeti, this year you've got to do a 40.
Wow.
And in fact, Berlin, which is 2018, is the year I turned 40.
Okay.
So I ran my first marathon, which is 42.2, in the year I turned 40 years of age.
Amazing.
And there's no looking back.
Yeah, you're ready for marathon, and how? You're crushing one after another. And you also win so many podiums in local races,
yes.
All the races in India. Yeah.
I have, yes. But I mean, I guess, those were, of course, I've evolved as a runner. Now I run, I thoroughly enjoy running the 42.2. So when you're in training for a 42, 21 or more is your weekend run anyway, right? Yeah. So I've really not done too many races in the last couple of years, I'd say. But yes, 2018 and before, lots and lots of races. I can't count the number of medals I have. I've been grateful. I do count my blessings, and I've been on a lot of podiums in Delhi.
Yeah.
Indeed.
That's wonderful. So you would have started running at the age of, 2010, how old would you be?
Gosh, my math sucks.
Yeah.
32?
32, around that.
32, 31, 32.
Can we try and get to know a little bit about the teenage Reeti? What was she like?
Oh, gosh. I was called a tomboy. Yeah, because like I said, my energy was not something that was, we were always out there. We'd run away into a forest or a jungle, wherever dad was posted. I always had the maximum number of friends, more boys than girls. I remember there was a time there were landlines those days, and only boyfriends would call, like boys and friends, nothing. And one fine day, one girl called, and my mom picked up the phone, and she came to me and she said, "Are you okay?" I said, "What happened?" She said, "There's a girl calling for you." And I'm like, okay. So I was out there. I had lots of hobbies. We've always been fond of pets. We're an animal lover family. So I've always had dogs at home. So taking them, out, various things. Like I said, always on my toes.
And what were you, did you have those teenage insecurities or early adolescence? Were you so confident always, or did you?
So I think, again, it's the it's the upbringing or the background, and I owe a lot to the Forge background. I keep saying this. So, because we travel so much, I've changed some 10 schools, so we tend to adapt faster as 4G kids, I'd say.
Yes.
So somewhere the confidence was there from day one, it only kept evolving and getting better and better. Like I said, my parents made me make my own mistakes. We were just left out to, figure out what's right, what's wrong, what worked for us, what didn't. And they were absolutely okay if we made a mistake. They said, we all learn and evolve. So yeah, somewhere I think I was given this confidence from day one, whether it was from, my parents, the family, schooling, upbringing, changing number of schools, just being out there, having to deal with, commute on your own, get out there, know people, go on a camp, Today I know kids that go into one school in upper KG or nursery, and they actually graduate out of the same school, So it actually just, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but I've probably done 10 schools, like I said, across the length and breadth of the country. So I think that also counts to a huge extent. So it's been a mix of everything.
I think exposure means a lot. Like even like when you study abroad and stuff, the exposure that you get when you meet people from different cultures, different places, and India is also so diverse, right?
Absolutely.
When you're moving across the length and breadth of India, like you said, people in Delhi, the kids that you will meet in Delhi will be very different from the ones you meet in Chennai or wherever, like southern part of India, right?
Absolutely.
And, that changes across the country. You're so diverse, and that's the beauty of it. Let us talk about your professional life. So you started as a corporate person, and then you decided to move on to your own entrepreneurial journey.
So 10 years into the corporate world, while I thoroughly enjoyed every bit of what I did, I was a soft skills trainer, which is, anything to do with, it could be as basic as email etiquette, presentation skills, negotiation skills, leadership skills. And like I said, I worked with this company called Steria. So 10 years of that in learning and development. And it was hugely gratifying. Of course, people would come back to me after a workshop and say, Reeti, I could never buy a home in the last 10 years of my work career. But after I attended this goal setting workshop of yours, I've actually bought a home. So it was really, but like I said, there was that one thing that was missing in my life, Fine, I was making that little money that I wanted and all of that, but I just wasn't able to, do a lot more that I wanted to do in the time I had. Because, in the corporate world, unfortunately, you have to do a 8 to 8. I mean, it's called 8 to 5, but by the time you get home is 8 to 8. So like I said, I love animals. So I work a lot in the animal welfare sector. So I wasn't getting time to do any of that. I wasn't getting time to pursue any other hobby of mine, which is fitness, be it entering a gym, traveling. The other thing that I do want to talk about right now is, so when I was in the corporate world, I would take so many leaves. My bosses were fed up because I wanted to do a trek, and the treks are like, so, if a trek is 21 days, it is 21 days. I can't cut short the trek, right? But they would say, sorry, you have 10 days. And I would come to the extent and say, boss, I'm really sorry, but give me leave without pay, but just give me this leave, So I was literally like, it was very hard for me to kind of take care of all of this, but I really needed my travel. That's something that kind of gets me going as well. I mean, if you ask me what is it that I would love to do and I really want to do again at some point in time, is go backpacking for a year. I think the way one evolves with travel, incomparable again, So I love travel, yeah. So, so one fine day I just said, I came home, I probably had a nasty day at work, and I came home and I, spoke to my husband and I said, what, I'm quitting tomorrow. And he's like, what? You've barely learned the ropes of the business of whatever. It's been 10 years in the company. And I said, I'm fed up. I can't be just making money and not enjoying what I do. I mean, not enjoying the rest of the time. And I was so convinced that all he said to me was, sure, do what you like, but ensure, it'll be nice if or you have another job in hand. I said, nothing doing. I genuinely went that same day back at work and I put in my papers. They didn't let me go. That's another story. Okay. And which again was a win-win for me because I got a sabbatical for 6 months. Awesome. And I took it happily because somewhere at the back of my mind also I said, what if I don't like not doing anything at the moment and I don't get another job that I like? I don't want to be without a job, right? So I took that sabbatical, but the 6 months flew by. I traveled in the 6 months. I did another trek. I think I remember I did Everest Base Camp in those, when I quit. And I did a few consulting assignments. So I'm certified in a few HR tools, MBTI and FIRO-B and all of that. So I can do a lot of workshops one-to-one with companies, that need...
as a consultant.
As a consultant. Yeah, totally, completely. And of course, training workshops as well, right? Because one is certified and one knows, So I did a lot of that every now and then. I was consulting with a boutique OD consultancy firm. That was again, I could take up what I wanted. So it could be 3 days of work in a week. It could be 10 days of work in a month. And I did that. 6 months flew by. I went back and gave my resignation again. I said, you know what? I have decided I want to move on. So then consulting happened for a while. Okay. Before I said, okay, fine. I think I'm done with this also. And then I just, for a year, literally traveled, trekked again and all of that. And then started my own business. Which is, of course, pocket money today. And I do a lot of other things. So my fingers are in too many pies at the moment.
Yeah, so let's hear, that was going to be my next question anyway. So what are all the 10 million things that you do?
So one is my little business, like I said. I run a Tony & Guy, which is a salon in Basant Vihar. So that's one. I work a lot in the animal welfare sector, which takes a lot of my time. So rescues, helping people, helping these four-legged get adopted, because there's so many abandonments that happen. I volunteer at a shelter. I take care of, say, 50 to 60 dogs every single day. When I say take care of, I mean I feed them. So, that takes a lot of my time and energy as well. But I completely love this space. This is where I belong, I feel. So for me, if I don't do it, I feel I also attract a lot of this, because even when I'm traveling, be it, where was I yesterday? A day before, yes, I was someplace just a few days ago. And out of the blue, suddenly, I'll see these dogs that I feel are hungry, And of course, I'll either have something on me or I'll just buy it off off a store and feed them. So that's another thing that I do. And I run a running community today.
Yeah. Let's hear about that. That's very vibrant.
Yeah. So we started this, it was founded in the midst of the pandemic, June 2021. We're 2 years plus and growing. We're 250 plus members today. And we have 5 sessions across Delhi and NCR.
Oh, like 5 different places?
So the locations are 1, 2, 3 locations. 1, 2, 3. 3 locations. Out of which 2 locations are in Delhi. 1 is in Noida. And we have 5 sessions in these 3 locations every single week.
Okay.
And we actually, like I said, we're open to any and everybody that wants to start their fitness journey, that want to experience the joy of running. I say this very, very clearly, We're about the joy. I want people to look at us, look at Run With Reeti and say, you know what? Look at the fun these guys have when they run. I want to join this community only for the fun they have. The camaraderie, the inspiration, the motivation that each one of us give each other. Ensure that if one is down and out, all of us will ensure that he or she gets to do his or her run, finishes it. We're there for each other. So that's what Run With Reeti is all about. We also approach running holistically. So it's not just running sessions. We've got a yoga instructor certified. We've got a Zumba instructor certified on board. We've got a strength trainer on board. Of course, we have our speed workouts. Lots of our crew members, I have 8 crew members, use their expertise and experience in leading these sessions, and the entire community looks up to them. We share training plans, and we make running fun.
It is. It looks that way as well. So so shout out to a couple of Run With Reeti people. They're my relatives. So Stuti.
Of
Sharma,
course, Stuti.
Rajiv.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. Rajiv and Stuti.
So
the father and daughter duo.
Correct.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So he's my brother-in-law.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I have so many mother-daughter, father-daughter duos that come and run. I think it's just insanely inspiring. I mean, people tell me that, you've done so great, Run With Reeti is amazing. And I tell them, you don't realize, you guys give me the energy to do what I do, You inspire me. I wake up. So if there's one thing I don't like about running, being brutally honest, is the wake up in the morning. I dread it, and I wish I could do it at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. But unfortunately, we live in a city like Delhi that you've got to run in the morning, right? So, when I wake up also and I have those hard days and I don't want to leave my bed, every single member, I'm reminded of every single member, and I'm like, you know what, they'll be looking forward to, all of us running together and stuff like that. So every member of the community inspires. They have a story. They're just incredible stories and journeys that we have in the community. I mean, I have goosebumps when I hear.
Tell us about one or two of those.
Okay. Where do I start? Who do I pick? So one lady, okay, she has fought cancer. She was literally on a wheelchair, and she joined the community, started walking, jogging, running. And after a few months of being with us, being regular, being consistent, being out there and coming and doing whatever she could and she mustered to do, which was brilliant. She actually wrote this really nice message on our WhatsApp handle saying that, her mom woke up this one fine day and said, why don't we just go and donate your wheelchair to a old age home or a home which requires it? You're up and about now. So, her life's changed completely. She's out there up and running after actually literally being wheelchair ridden, having fought breast cancer. So stories like this, insane. People that were obese. Mm-hmm. I mean, they never thought they could lose the weight they could and transform their lives and be who they are today. Many, many stories, like I said.
Yeah. The breast cancer example that you just gave, this is October is the breast cancer awareness month.
Yes, that's true.
And we've just been approached by a major foundation that works in this area, and we're collaborating, and we've recorded a couple of episodes already on breast cancer awareness with experts. So yeah, I mean, Shout out to the person who's
Absolutely
survived the cancer.
Incredible. Salute to her.
Yeah. Wonderful, ma'am. Reeti, you stay here in Noida and you travel to Delhi pretty much, most days of the week. What gets you up in the morning? Like what helps you break that inertia? It's so easy to stay in bed and not head out for a run and drive all the way and then meet all these people and then do this. Like what is it that gets you there?
So you're a runner, so you know the runner's high, or you know what running gives you. So that's what it's intangible. The high, the joy of running, what running has given me all this while, or it gives me the feeling, how I feel. I can't put a finger to it. I can't tell you what it's called. It's the joy. It's how I feel. It's Reeti after a run. You know what I mean? So I can't be in bed. I can't be lazy and have that feeling. And hence the wake up, the lace up, and go get that workout done.
Has there been a phase where you've been out of running?
I have, every now and then. So true to a runner's life, I get injured every now and then. I do silly things as well. I thankfully have a physiotherapist. He's literally God. I keep saying that. Yes.
I
oh my
met him
God.
Yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I have to go see him on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't be running without him. Brutally honest.
But that's exactly what I told him when I saw him, because I met him for the first time yesterday and I told him some people refer to you as God. They'll say Chandan Bhagwan hai.
Yeah.
So you're not the only one. There's a friend of mine, Keshav, who's a parkour athlete.
Tankha.
No, Talha is different.
Okay.
So this is Keshav Sharma, who's based out of Gurgaon. He is a co-founder of Vanar Shala. It's a parkour community. And he's also a filmmaker.
Interesting.
I should probably just plug in. He was in the team of Elephant Whisperers, the movie that won the Oscars.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's also a filmmaker and audio content creator, and as well as a parkour athlete. So he referred me to him. Yeah, and he says exactly. He said, Chandan Chawla ne meri life change kar diya. He said, doctors had said, ye hoga, wo hoga, ye nahi kar paoge, wo nahi kar paoge. I went to him and I've been fixed.
You know what also I think works in everyone's favor who goes to him? Of course, you've got to be very diligent and true to yourself and follow him to a T, is because he himself is a runner. So he understands, what mental agony we're coming to him with. So while we're injured, we still want to run. Yeah. So he will do his best to ensure that we keep the running going, and strength train or do whatever is required to get over that injury. He's also ensured that my threshold of pain has gone to God knows what level. Oh my God.
Wow.
But bless him.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah. He also took a lot of time to ask me in detail about my running mileage and the speeds and everything.
Yes.
So what all I've been doing. So yeah, Chandan is great. Okay. So when you're in that non-running phase, does your life change? Like, what does it feel like?
So, one is that I'm in the non-running phase. When I say non-running, it's never really non-running. I mean, I should correct that. So one is maintenance mileage phase, which is between marathons. So if I've raced a marathon, obviously for the next 2 months, I just do maintenance mileage, right? So it's basic running 3-4 days a week, but very, very less easy running, just to keep that base going. So I'm active, I'm doing strength, and I am doing a bit of running, but it's never been zero running in my life. I don't think it's ever going to happen that way. I will drive everybody around me nuts, forget myself. Exactly. You won't believe it. So this also reminds me to another point. When I'm at work and I'm having a bad day, I mean, I'm crabby, somebody or the other from my work, people will come to me and say, ma'am, aaj bhage nahi the na? 5 kilometer karao na. Because they know that she will go do a 5 or a 10 or whatever kilometer, they don't know, and I'll be in perfect mood. You know what I mean? So that's really how it is. So injury also, like right now I am injured. So I am in rehab, but rehab also means there is a bit of running and jogging. So it's not speed workouts, it's not 80 kilometers a week. It could be 40, 50K a week and more of walking and jogging and strength. So that's the kind of non-running that Reeti's in, right? I go for my sessions still because that energy drives me and vice versa. So, I keep the sked going because to be honest, I'm normal as well, right? I'm as normal as anybody else around me. I do tend to get lazy, which also brings me to another fact that, as much as we need to strength train, to be able to complement running, and I am certified as a trainer, functional trainer, I still need a workout partner or a functional trainer who comes home to make me do my strength because I can get really lazy. So I also need to pay an ex-person, Richa, of course, she's fabulous. She comes over, we work out together or whatever, and that's the way I get my strength done as well. So I mean, that's really what non-running for me is. So I pick up my strength, do a bit more of yoga, Running as such comes down in volume, but of course I am still walking, jogging, and it's still 40-50 kilometers a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you want to tell us in a nutshell your training leading up to a big
marathon?
event? Yeah.
So it'll probably be 4 to 5 days of running, out of which 2 days are speed work, 3 days is mostly easy running. I do 2 days of strength work, upper and lower body both, and a day of yoga.
Do you do that in the gym or at home?
Very much at home. I guess the pandemic got us all self-sufficient. So everybody, I've got a pull-up bar outside. I've got some weights in here. So Richa comes over and we do it together here. I've got a yoga mat.
What's her full name?
Richa Gupta.
Richa Gupta. Okay.
Yeah. She lives in Noida itself. Right. So she comes in and we do our workouts together. So it's twice a week is strength. Once a week is yoga, and of course 4 to 5 days a week of running, depending on, what part of my 4-month training I'm in for the main marathon. And of course I try and do maybe a day of swimming as well. It depends. So it's between all of this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's really what broadly my training looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I mean, and are you diligent about mobility and strength?
I am. With Chandan Chawla visits, I don't have a choice.
Okay.
And you've got to be honest to yourself. I can't keep visiting Doc and telling him I have a problem and not doing what he asked me to do. But it's very boring. I hate mobility exercises. Some of them can get really, really boring and frustrating. Yeah. But trust me, I've seen results. So like I said, he actually made sure I could run Boston, the year I ran Boston, because I was injured, and I still did a 4-hour Boston. Wow. Which I didn't think would be possible. Yeah.
That's great. So exactly, that's my plan. I plan to follow whatever he's given me to the T, because I had a back issue and I showed it to him, because I said, I don't want to live with a broken back. Please check and tell me. He first said, back is not broken. That's great news. It's only inflammation. You need to do this. I said, okay, this is exactly what I'm doing for the next 3 months. And he said, yeah, you'll be back to peak mileage in 3 to 4 months.
There you are. And I'm telling you, you will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope so.
I had a broken shoulder. He got me everything back. I mean, it's been amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're right. You've got to put in the work.
100%.
Exactly.
No pain, no gain. I mean, I say it very clearly. People think, they keep saying that Reeti sirf bhagti rehti hai. I'm like, tum bhag ke dekh lo na yaar. You know what I mean? It's a hugely disciplined sport.
It is.
Sure. And you're a runner again. You're an ultra runner. You run longer distances than I do. You know what it entails. I mean, from sleeping on time, curtailing your alcohol. I only drink wine, but I do enjoy my drinks. Yeah. All of that, eating healthy food, your strength training, everything. It's like
Reeti,
compromising on family time.
Oh, for sure. It does require all those sacrifices, for sure. But you'll be surprised how undisciplined or indisciplined ultra runners are. A lot of us, we're not disciplined at all. We run in the evenings. We wake up late.
You're not supposed to tell the world that. Kidding.
Yeah.
But you get that longish mileage done, right? You get the ultra mileage done.
There's no other way.
That's what really matters.
That has to be done.
So the mental strength
for sure
is there, which a lot of people don't have. And hence, that X percent, that very, very minute percent runs ultras or runs a marathon for that matter.
That's true.
So you've got it.
True. Okay, let me ask you this. How does breaking your body and torturing yourself, because marathon is a beast, right?
It is.
How's that... what do you find addictive about that? What is it that keeps pulling you back towards it?
I think there's a joy in that also. That I call it the sweet pain, I told you that I'm screaming towards the end, to myself. And thankfully, I've run international marathons only so far. By the way, I'm also debuting in running a marathon at NDM.
Okay.
Yeah. So far, I've done 7 in marathons, and they've all been abroad. So the good part again is there are not too many Indians. So in the last 10 kilometers, it's Hindi. Okay. Hello, Hindi, you know what I mean? All the swear words. So, but I just feel that there is this sense of achievement at the end of the day when you cross that finish line, and that, that feeling of I can achieve anything, that go-getter spirit. I feel that if I can run that distance, if I can actually run through that pain, that, that discomfort, it's about, being comfortable in being uncomfortable. That's what I think this marathon distance does to you, or the training does to you. So, I feel that at the end of the day, I truly believe, and I know I can achieve what I put my mind to. So that's really what running a marathon does to me. It's like I've become very, very resilient. I know that I can actually go out there and get anything I want. Because there's such a lot of discipline that's involved in training. And then, as you evolve and you run more marathons and your goals evolve, it gets harder and harder. It may seem like, oh, look at her, she's running faster, but it's become harder for me. because I've had to become more disciplined, whether it was mentally, whether it was, I've had very bad training days. I have days where I want to cry, I want to throw up, but when you're running the race, that exam day, the D-Day, those are the days that take me through. You know what I mean? So there is this sweet pain. There is this reward, which is, and only a runner understands it. You'll understand it. You're an ultra runner. But if you talk to a non-runner, they'll be like, I don't understand why she spends so many lakhs to go abroad and run a 42.2 and get killed, tortured, not be able to walk, have 5 blisters and still sign up for another marathon.
Yeah. Totally. It's an internal sort of a thing. Well-kept. It's a well-kept secret.
Yeah. But like I said, we can't put a finger to it. We'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because it gives you something that nothing else gives you.
Yeah. And every event you do tell yourself, this is the last one.
Like, इसके बाद नहीं करूँगी.
कोई chance ही नहीं है ना.
I keep saying this to me. I said, इसके बाद नहीं करना है. I told myself after the world majors, इसके बाद I'm not running. I mean, I probably go to Ultra, do whatever, and there you go. Sydney came my way, I grabbed it. I'm looking forward to Boston now. You know what I mean? So it's just very, very momentary that you say नहीं करना है.
Yeah. Fair. Excellent. I've loved this. Reeti, what's the toughest challenge you've done so far?
So one thing that comes to my mind instantly is, I trek as well. Like I said, I'm a mountaineer. So this was a double summit that we did just before the pandemic.
What's a double summit? So 2 days of continuous, like one summit one day and
so
day.
You actually summit early in the morning. So when you're going on a summit, you're walking the entire night. Mm-hmm. So you start like your summit walk, say around 11, 12 p.m. And you summit somewhere at 6, 7 in the morning when the sun rises. You're at the top of the peak. Then you come down. So it's literally, I would say, almost 20 to 24 hours of walking on your feet. But the views that you get to see from the summit are incomparable, and it's fairly torturous and challenging.
Which mountain was it?
So this was in the Markha Valley region in Ladakh.
Okay.
It was Kangyatse 2 and Zozongo, both at 6,200 meters above sea level. Very less oxygen. Beautiful, but torturous. So I remember we were at, I think, the last camp before we were going to take off for our summit. And we were lacing up. I remember we were wearing our crampons and our boots and all of that. We were just 3-4 of us in one tent. And we were looking at each other and literally crying in tears. It was so cold. Nothing was moving. I couldn't wear my boots. I needed help. You didn't want to eat, but you had to eat because you were going to be on your feet for so long, right? And you're tied to each other because it's risky. You're walking on snow, you're going up, you're climbing altitude, all of that. And I said, I've not paid so much money to, get rogered. And why am I doing this? I literally was in tears, like I said, and I was like, what if I'm not able to do it? The pride is hurt more than anything else. But of course, thankfully and God willing, we summited. And then we came down, slept for a few hours and walked to the base camp of summit number 2, which was, so we did Kangyatse 2 first and we did Zozongo later. So we stayed there again. The same night we went to summit again. So it was literally back to back. So it's literally very, very hard on the body. Very hard on the body. Like I said, 6,300 meters in Ladakh where the oxygen anyway is very, very less. But again, when you reach the top, what you get to see is what you only get to see if you put yourselves through that. So it was challenging to another level. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and that's when you also realize that you actually need nothing else except 2-3 square meals, a roof on your head. You're really, really grateful for everything that you have in life back home in Delhi, which is, you're spoiled thoroughly. You're in traffic and you're cribbing and complaining. And there it's just about, am I safe? Am I going to be able to make it? You're just in nature, you know what I mean? No, nothing works, no connectivity. You're only eating Maggie. I mean, in summits like this, I've had garam orange squash. Have you ever had garam orange squash? I can't tell you how yummy it tastes.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's minus in temperatures, right? So yeah, that was
anything would
feel
great.
I mean, they actually give us water from ice. So they actually have to melt ice to make water, warm it up and give it to us. And we have to drink it quickly before it again freezes. So it's that hard. But again, hugely challenging, but hugely gratifying. So that was something that was, that comes to my mind as of now.
Kangyatse is no mean feat. Like 6,002, I know a few people who've done that, and it's not a walk in the park. It's a pretty challenging one. And then to do another one the very next day,
So I wanted to challenge myself. You know what I mean?
So this was planned. Like, was this an organized event, or what was it like?
It was an organized event. So I trek or climb with an outfit called White Magic Adventure.
Okay.
So they had planned it, and a few of us did the double summit. Most people did the single summit, just one summit, and they headed back.
Yeah, I mean,
but
that sounds rational.
I know.
And sensible.
But we guys are crazy, right? As runners, as marathoners. Yeah. I mean, I ran 2 world majors, full marathons back to back.
Yeah,
I can't believe I did that. And then, of course, so I guess, it's just to challenge that mind and body. And rightly so, this brings me to Kipchoge's one line that says, no human is limited. Yeah. So, yeah, I say this very clearly, and I totally, completely believe in it. If the mind conceives it or conceives it, the body achieves it, You work towards it, of course.
Yeah.
And I guess you can, and again, bringing back to my own example, I didn't want to run a full marathon distance for 7 years of my running journey. People kept reaching out to me saying, I think you can do a 42.2, but it was about me. It was us saying that, listen, I'm mentally ready now. So I woke up one fine day and I said, I am ready to run that distance. I signed up, I trained for it, and I was successful. So yeah, that's how I think, we all work towards everything that we want to achieve in life.
Yeah, beautiful. That's beautiful to hear. When you were mentioning the climbs, the 2 climbs that you talked about, I just recently heard this quote: "The harder the climb, the better the view."
Yeah. It is true.
Right?
It's absolutely true. And, again, a mountaineer understands this, or a trekker understands this. You can't imagine the views we get. You can't imagine the joy, the experience, the learning, the feeling of climbing. I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere. You're in the back of beyond. You can't even come back and explain to your own family what you've gone through. There are no toilets. So either they're pit toilets, okay, or you just go in the wild, in the open. You don't take baths for 10 days. I've done treks where I've not showered for 10 days. So your Johnson baby wipes are your best friends. You have garam orange squash and stuff like that. You literally live on Maggie.
It's a different world out there.
It's a different world out there. But like I said, it's a different high again. And you learn so much. It teaches you so much. It actually makes you respect life a lot more than you would just learn or do sitting in an air-conditioned home through the year in Delhi city or wherever else. You know what I mean? So I feel it's extremely... In fact, I joke with a lot of my friends... a lot of people that are dating each other, and they want to get married. I say, एक trek पे चले जाओ दोनों. If you survive the trek, ना, शादी कर लो.
What an advice. Yeah.
हाँ. If you don't survive the trek, because that's as natural as one gets. There is no pretense there. There is no filter. There is no Instagram filter. It's who you really are. There is no pretense, zero inhibitions. It's you versus you. You've got to be there for each other. That's it. There's no makeup. There's not even a mirror to see how you look. You're not taking a shower for 10 days. I wear the same trekking pants for 4 days. I do. And I love it.
Crazy. Yeah, no, and also they say people who go through great suffering together also become great friends.
Oh, yes.
Which is what explains the camaraderie and the friendships that we have.
Running has made me meet some most amazing people on the planet. And so has trekking, by the way. I may not meet them or talk to them every day, but we trek together every now and then. We pick up on the same note. We are great friends. We share stories. So there could be times I go on a trek and, a couple of them may not join me or vice versa, but we come back, exchange stories. We always ask the other person, and we've actually made great bonds. I mean, it doesn't matter where you come from. You share the same passion or love for trekking or running, and you bond. It's, I remember when I was in the corporate world, they would say, दो लोग जो सुट्टा पीते हैं ना, they become best friends. So it reminds me of that also. Yeah. I mean, you may not, because see, your smoking zone है.
Yeah.
So आप HR से आ रहे हो, कोई IT से आया है, कोई कहीं से आया, but you're smoking together, so you end up talking. Yeah. And you're always meeting at those 5 minutes when you take that little break. Correct. So you end up picking, knowing the other person and picking up friendship. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but our kinds are better. The running kinds are better.
I agree. We're great humans.
Yes.
I agree. I'm biased, but I'm biased.
Wonderful. So Reeti, before I let you go, tell me, and this is मतलब बहुत ही बड़ा सवाल है, आप जैसे चाहो आंसर कर सकते हो.
कोशिश करूंगी.
हाँ. So what's your ultra in life? Like, what's your life purpose?
Wow, it truly is like a loaded question. I don't know where to begin, but what I'd like to really say is that I would like to make a change or help people evolve or work towards a better self. Try and impact as many lives as I would say. be it in running, be it by bringing a smile on their face. And it could be, when I say lives, I'm not talking about just two-legged, I'm talking about four-leggeds also. So try and create, an impact in people's lives like by doing whatever I can in my capacity. So whether it's feeding dogs, giving some food to a needy, just bringing a smile on a stranger's face, or running a community and ensuring or helping people evolve as better, stronger runners. So just being able to impact people's lives, that help them work towards a better self.
Okay, let's go a level deeper. Why is it important for you to impact people and help people?
I think that nothing gives me greater joy than that, being able to, and I feel that, I can't have it all. It's not, the more I share, the more I give, the more I get. And it's not just material. It's absolutely actually not material. It's the happiness, the feeling of waking up fulfilled, going to bed fulfilled. That's something that keeps me going. So I just believe in sharing. The more I give, I feel the more I get. And the happier I am as a being, And that's really how I want to operate in life.
Yeah, that's incredible. Wonderful. What a chat. Love this every bit. Thank you so much, Reeti, for making
Love
time.
being on Find Your Ultra. Thank you for having me, and great meeting you finally after 10 years of being and sharing the same passion.
Yeah, and when I can become disciplined enough to wake up in the morning, I shall definitely join
Run with Reeti. We look forward to having you on board and running with you.
Wonderful.
And you never know, we may come to Dwarka soon too. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So let me work on being a little more disciplined and waking up in the mornings. Thank you, Reeti. Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
Thank you for staying with us till the end. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, please consider subscribing on Spotify or wherever you're listening to this. It helps the podcast a lot more than you think it does. We do try to release a new episode every Friday, but as you know, the podcast is not backed by a production company yet. It is all end-to-end produced by a one-man army. That's me. That's a regular family man trying to juggle a full-time job and a family and everything else that comes with it. So I hope you'll understand if an episode is late or if I miss a week altogether, which has happened on a couple of occasions and I hate it. I'm doing my absolute best to not let that happen often. But when it does, I really beg for your support and understanding. Thank you so much, and see you in the next episode very soon. Hopefully next Friday itself.